great friend of mine, and I'm really delighted to finally get you on the show, Jeffrey. Jeffrey Candelaria is with us. Jeffrey is the is a business development officer with Bank of the West here in Albuquerque, formerly with the Hispano Chamber of Commerce, spent a lot of years there. And if there's anybody that knows business in this town, it's you, my friend. It's good to see you.
It's great to be on the Morning Brew, and congratulations on a great production here in Albuquerque.
Thank you.
Thank you. We kind of like it.
Absolutely.
We have fun with it.
Yeah, we do. You know, one thing I know about you, and I've known you a long time, that you really, you don't just sit in your office and dream this stuff up. You're out talking to people every day about what's going on in this town.
Absolutely.
And what are you seeing? What's the trends that you're putting your finger on?
Well, that's a
right
vast question, but to be succinct, and I guess if you want to talk about some trends that relate to the local market in terms of business, really the social media wave is really important to business today. And for some of the younger folk, that's part of their essence these days. But if you're a little older and you're not incorporating social media into your business platform, you're losing a lot of customers. Yeah. Having said that, it still is important to have a face-to-face relationship. Yep. Because at the end of the day, because Albuquerque, New Mexico is part of the Old West, and I'm surmising that, you know, in the Old West you actually had a relationship with folks when you traded and you bartered.
Yeah, sure.
That still lingers. Having said that, the social media trend is still an important component to incorporate into your business. The other trend I see in business is buy local. There's a wave of consumership here in Albuquerque that really wants to skew toward, you know, buying local products. And at Bank of the West, we really emphasize that relationship and the local platform here in Albuquerque.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, I agree fully with that. And I think you've done a great job with that because you're always out networking. And if you don't have that face time along with that social media aspect, it's a whole lost art.
Absolutely. Absolutely. At the end of the day, I think folks anywhere still want to buy from people they know and trust. Yeah. And at the end of the day, you can't replace that with branding, commercials, any of that. I mean, that helps with awareness.
Sure.
Right.
But particularly when you're dealing with people's money on their business, I mean, that's a stewardship that you hold as a bank. And I personally make a commitment to my clients to try to assist them, even if they're not my clients, to help network in the community.
The relationships are very, very important in this city, especially if you move into this community from elsewhere. You learn that really fast, and if you don't, you're going to have some trouble.
Absolutely, absolutely. And of course, I'm being generic when I say this, but forgive me for saying it like this, but some of that East Coast mentality that comes in and there's a kind of a box that they try to fit into this market, It doesn't always work. It just does not work because the model that's used in some of the bigger urban areas, it's just not effective here necessarily because of the anthropology, the way we do business here in New Mexico.
Yeah. And for a lot of people looking to start new businesses, Bank of the West can definitely help with that as far as I don't know, let's say you guys are a full service bank. So what is something that you guys can help? I'm somebody looking to start a new business and I come to Bank of the West. How can you help?
Well, for one thing, as a new business, you're going to need to have access to your banker regularly as you evolve your business, particularly the first 2 years. And with our bank, our managers provide you with their cell phone. My phone's always on, even on Saturdays and Sundays, so my access point doesn't really end at all. The value I think I bring to my clients is if you're a business, Aaron, and you're starting a company of any kind, I will continually commit to assisting your business by providing you with opportunities to network on an ongoing basis. Relationships with the Greater Chamber, Hispano Chamber, Albuquerque AED, all these other resources, I get my clients to attend those when they can so they can continually evolve and grow their market.
We're interested in finding some of these entrepreneurial stories, so bring them to us.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Would you?
Now that I've been on the show, I have more awareness of what you're looking for. Absolutely.
Sure, and we love those kind of stories. One thing that this show is built on, and we say it a lot, Aaron, but the people in this community are remarkable. We have such a deep talent pool, and we meet them all the time. We got more people on today that are just amazing.
Absolutely.
How come all that talent doesn't translate into a more dynamic economic environment for the state as a whole? What do you think?
Well, that's a good question. Talent in and of itself doesn't always equate to business, because understanding a business platform and executing a business plan is a science. And I don't know if I'm answering your question, but
No,
because
you
someone
are.
has talent, if you don't attach a business model and a business plan that's well executed and have a strategic plan for a year, 2 years, and 5 years out, well, you may not be successful in business. When I worked at the chamber for all those many years, I would consult with my clients. You can have the best, for example, Mexican restaurant in Albuquerque, but if you're not priced correctly, you don't position your product correctly, you don't reach your audience correctly, you're not aware of what your competitors are doing, you're not going to succeed. That's just the science of business.
Wow.
Pretty profound.
Yeah. So then, do your clients ever come to you with questions like that? Like, look,
what am I
have
doing
this.
wrong, or-
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, absolutely. So lots of companies may have a great product, but their cash flow may not be a sturdy point in their business. Or maybe they've got some credit issues, or maybe they need lines of credit, or maybe their merchant services isn't reaching the right kind of crowd, or maybe they're not on Facebook and reaching a younger audience. So there are all these different balls in the air in terms of business. And absolutely, I'm not going to charge a fee to consult with you, even if you're not banking with me, because I honestly want businesses here to be successful, and if I can lend a helping hand in my humble, small way, it's good for our economy, it's good for the vibrancy of our community, and it just makes New Mexico a better place in terms of quality of life.
What did growing up here teach you the most?
What did it teach me the
Yeah.
most? The importance of never replacing technology or branding or material with relationships, like the one you and I have forged over
Yeah.
the last 15 years. You can never replace a meaningful, trust-based relationship. And I know it sounds trivial, and I don't mean to sound like a living platitude, but I honestly just try to help people. It's just that simple. And helping people can be as simple as making a phone call to someone they may not know, to reviewing their strategic marketing plan. And honestly, I can do any of that and willingly provide those services.
Well, it sounds like you're helping out the community, and we appreciate that.
Absolutely. I appreciate being a guest on the Morning Brew. Congratulations.
Talk a little bit about the job market. I'm sure you have a lot of people that come to you and say, Jeffrey, you know a lot of people. I'm looking for a new gig. What are you seeing out there in terms of a job situation for this town?
There are jobs. I was reading a very disturbing statistic the other day. 81% of Albuquerque's population that graduates from high school is not prepared to attend college in terms of literature or science. I know you're going to have Mr. Shakespeare guy on, and I appreciate that, because Shakespeare, literature, all those kinds of things are vastly important just toward the overall, I guess you'd say, quality of client. So the point is, there is a labor force that's lacking for jobs that are available in the New Mexico market. Keep in mind, New Mexico has a lot of science and technology jobs. You know, we have a base here, we have 2 labs, major labs, that support, you know, our country in a very fascinating way, mostly oriented towards science. But if you don't have an education that's going to provide to those jobs, then you've got to disconnect. So there are jobs, but their labor force isn't always meeting those job opportunities. The other thing is, when folks graduate from UNM and other places of higher learning in New Mexico, a lot of folks are leaving our state. Our state.
We do have a brain drain.
Yeah.
I think we do.
So I don't know if that's answering your question, but
No, you did.
it's a lot of those dynamics that.
So if I'm
interplay.
someone kind of new in the community, or I'm someone that wants to get more engaged and become a little more like Jeffrey Candelaria, where would you say somebody should start?
Well, honestly, give me a call. Here's why. I have, and I'm very fortunate to have relationships with folks like you and now Aaron, that are institutions in our community. Hispano Chamber, Greater Chamber, Albuquerque Economic Development, Oxion, Westcor. There are so many resources that provide support for businesses, and I happen to have pretty meaningful relationships with those folks, and I'm very fortunate to do so. So if somebody's new to the community, give me a call. I think my number's on the screen. I'll help you connect with those resources that can help you as a business person grow and develop your market.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the great things. Albuquerque does provide a lot of those resources, sometimes people just don't know about
Absolutely.
it and they don't know where to go.
Or they don't know the person inside that entity to contact. And there's always a reticence to call some monolithic, nondescript building or entity unless you know a person based on a warm introduction.
Just
then
get
it
an
opens
access
up the
point.
door and it makes it a lot easier.